It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey there, beautiful humans. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, aka the Queen Bee of this hive, and as always, I am so glad that you are here. Today's episode is one that feels more important than ever because there is so much confusion, misinformation, and frankly, deliberate distortion floating around about feminism. Somewhere along the way, people started equating feminism with man-hating, bitterness, division, and anti-family values. If you've spent any amount of time on social media, you've probably seen these claims over and over again, constantly being repeated by people who don't believe in feminism. But here's the truth. Modern feminism is not about hating men. Modern feminism is about freedom. It's about equality. It's about empowerment. It's about creating a world where every person, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to live authentically, safely, and with dignity. Today we're going to unpack what modern feminism actually is, what it isn't, why the patriarchy remains the problem, and why allies, including our male allies, matter tremendously in the fight for equality. So, grab your coffee, your tea, or your comfy blanket, and let's get into it. So, what is feminism, really? I've covered this topic before, but I am seeing and hearing about some concerning behaviors out there and figured it was time for a little bit of a refresher. So, let's start with the basics. At its core, feminism is the belief that women deserve political, economic, and social equality. That's it. That's the foundation. Feminism emerged because women were denied basic rights that men enjoyed. Women couldn't vote. Women could not own property independently. Women couldn't access higher education. Women couldn't open bank accounts without male permission. Women couldn't serve in many professions. Women were legally and socially subordinate, and often still are. Feminism arose because women demanded equal treatment under the law and within society. Over time, feminism evolved to address more complex issues involving workplace discrimination, reproductive rights, violence against women, unequal caregiving expectations, representation in leadership, and systemic barriers that continue to impact women's lives today. Modern feminism recognizes that equality is not simply achieved because laws change. Cultural expectations, institutions, and social systems also shape opportunities and outcomes. Now let's clear up some myths and discuss what modern feminism is not. Myth number 1. Feminism means hating men. Nope, not even close. Feminism critiques systems of power. It does not require hatred of individual men. In fact, many feminists have loving relationships with men. Many feminists are married to men. Many feminists raise sons. Many feminists work alongside men. Many men identify as feminists themselves. The goal isn't to replace one form of domination with another. The goal is equality. If someone tells you feminism is about hating men, they're either misinformed or repeating a stereotype designed to discredit the movement. And if you are a self-proclaimed feminist who does hate men, you do not represent me, and you do not represent modern feminism. That's your own personal issue to deal with. Now, I will say, as a woman, I can understand when women struggle to enjoy the company of men. I can understand a woman claiming to hate men. But honestly, underneath all that is usually some trauma. All right. And P.S. I'm not saying any of that is right. I'm just saying I understand it. So, myth number 2. Feminism wants women to be better than men. Again, no. Feminism does not seek female supremacy. It seeks equity. The movement is not saying women deserve more rights than men. It's saying women deserve the same opportunities, respect, autonomy, and protections as men. Myth number 3. Feminism is no longer necessary. My favorite. I hear this one a lot. Some people point to women's voting rights, educational access, and workplace participation as proof that feminism's work is done. Yet women continue to experience disparities in leadership representation, caregiving burdens, economic security, healthcare access, and rates of gender-based violence. Progress has happened, but progress is not the same thing as completion. And progress varies among many different cultures and geographic locations. Now let's talk about the word that makes people uncomfortable. Patriarchy. Patriarchy is the real target of the feminist movement. Patriarchy is not a synonym for men. Yes, they are the beneficiaries of patriarchy, but patriarchy does not equal men. Patriarchy is a social system. It's a system that historically places men and masculinity in positions of power while devaluing traits, roles, and experiences associated with women. The patriarchy impacts everyone. It tells women, be agreeable, be quiet, be pretty, be accommodating, don't take up too much space, don't be angry. While it tells men, don't cry, don't be vulnerable, don't ask for help, always be strong, your value comes from dominance and achievement. Both women and men can uphold patriarchal values. And both women and men can challenge them. This is an important distinction. Modern feminism does not hate men. Modern feminism opposes patriarchal systems, beliefs, and institutions that create inequality. The focus is not on attacking people based on gender. The focus is on dismantling systems that restrict freedom and opportunity. And yes, feminism should challenge anyone who actively upholds patriarchal oppression, regardless of whether that person is a man or woman. The issue is the behavior in the system, not the gender of the individual. I personally know many women who uphold patriarchal values. Not gonna lie, I get a little bit judgy on the inside about that, because how dare you tell me how to live my life? I consider that person a gender traitor, especially when they benefit from the work of prior feminist movements. You know, like the fact that they can have credit cards, bank accounts, vote, all that stuff. All right, now let's talk about allies. One of the biggest mistakes any social movement can make is pushing away people who genuinely support the cause. We need allies. And yes, that includes men. Many men are actively working toward gender equality. Many men challenge sexism. Many men advocate for reproductive rights. Many men support equal pay. Many men challenge toxic masculinity. Many men are raising daughters with feminist values. Many men are teaching sons that empathy, vulnerability, and equality are strengths. Why would we reject those allies simply because they are men? That makes no sense. Movements become stronger when people unite around shared values. The goal is not exclusion. The goal is transformation. When men use their voices to challenge sexism, they can often reach audiences that women cannot. That's not fair, but it is reality. The reality is that we need allies in positions of power. In feminism, that means men. In racism, that means white people. In classism, that means wealthy people. Effective movements understand the importance of coalition building. If someone genuinely supports equality, freedom, and human dignity, they belong in the conversation. One thing that sometimes gets lost in discussions about feminism is freedom. Modern feminism is fundamentally about expanding choices. It's about ensuring that women have the freedom to decide whether to marry, whether to have children, what career to pursue, how to dress, how to express themselves, how to lead their lives. Feminism is not about telling women what choices they should make. It's about ensuring that women have the right to make those choices themselves. A woman choosing corporate leadership deserves respect. A woman choosing motherhood deserves respect. A woman choosing both deserves respect. A woman choosing neither deserves respect. Freedom means autonomy. And autonomy is a cornerstone of empowerment, the very thing that I have devoted my life to do. Now, this should not come as a surprise, but as a psychotherapist, I want to spend some time talking about the psychology of empowerment. Empowerment isn't simply confidence. It's not positive thinking. It's not pretending that everything is okay. True empowerment is the belief that your voice matters, your needs matter, your boundaries matter, your dreams matter, your humanity matters. Patriarchal systems often encourage women to prioritize everyone else's needs before their own. Many women are socialized to become caretakers, peacekeepers, and emotional managers. While caring for others can be beautiful, it becomes harmful when women are taught that self-sacrifice is their only acceptable role. Empowerment means reclaiming your right to exist as a full human being, not an accessory, not a supporting character, not an afterthought, a full human being. Now let's talk about living feminist values every day. What can you actually do that makes a difference? First, examine internalized messages. Ask yourself, what beliefs about women did I absorb growing up? I've shared before, one of mine was that women are too emotional to be president. What a joke. I can't believe I ever bought into that crap. I was a child, in my defense, right? What beliefs about men did I absorb? Are those beliefs helping me or limiting me? Awareness is the first step toward change. Next, speak up when you see sexism. You don't have to become an activist overnight, but challenge harmful comments when you can. Ask questions, encourage reflection. Small moments do create cultural change. Next, support women's voices. Read books by women. Listen to women. Promote women's work. Recommend women for opportunities. Amplify women's contributions. And if you are not a woman, try appreciating the difference in perspective among genders instead of engaging in harsh criticism of women's voices. Next, welcome genuine allies. Do not create unnecessary divisions. This goes for all genders who identify as feminists. Judge people by their actions and values, not by stereotypes. If someone is committed to equality, invite them into the conversation. Allow for non-women to learn a new perspective. Understand that they don't have your lived experience, so they cannot relate exactly to the misogyny that you have experienced. And if you are not a woman and want to be an ally, be patient with the women who become frustrated when they feel they are not being heard. Try to understand why a woman is reacting to you in a certain way, instead of just slapping the angry feminist label on them and walking away from the movement altogether. Let me tell you, we have centuries of oppression behind us, and we are done with the bullshit, so we might not always deliver a response that is palatable to a non-woman. Deal with it. Now, let me also reiterate, abuse is not tolerated from any gender for any reason, regardless of what side of the issue you are on. So, ladies, I am not going to excuse your behavior for becoming verbally abusive to a man. I'm also not telling you that you have to smile and make nice with a jackass. Okay, finally, practice personal empowerment. Ladies, set boundaries, take up space, ask for what you need, negotiate, lead, create, speak. Your voice deserves to be heard. All right, my queens, time for our badass affirmation of the week. This week's affirmation is, I stand for equality without apology. My voice is powerful. My freedom matters, and I refuse to shrink myself to make oppression comfortable. Let's sit with that for a moment. So much of feminism is about refusing to become smaller for someone else's convenience. History changes because people decide they will no longer accept the limitations imposed on them. Every time that you speak your truth, every time that you set a boundary, advocate for yourself, support another woman, or challenge injustice, you participate in that legacy. This affirmation reminds us that feminism is not about hatred. It's about courage. It's about freedom. It's about believing that every human being deserves dignity and opportunity. And that is something worth fighting for. As we wrap up today's conversation, I want to leave you with this. Modern feminism is not a movement of hate. It is a movement of hope. It imagines a world where people are free to become who they truly are without being constrained by outdated gender expectations. It seeks equality, not domination. It values empowerment, not control. It embraces freedom, not restriction. And it recognizes that meaningful change happens when people work together to challenge systems that harm us all. The patriarchy may be deeply rooted, but every generation has the opportunity to loosen its grip. Every conversation matters. Every act of courage matters. Every voice matters, including yours. All right, ladies, if today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, a family member, a coworker, or an ally who could benefit from a clearer understanding of what modern feminism actually stands for. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices, so that you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for an empowering community of women who are committed to growth, equality, healing, and using their voices unapologetically, come join our hive over on Facebook. Until next time, remember, you do not need permission to take up space. You do not need permission to use your voice. And you certainly do not need permission to pursue freedom. Keep buzzing, keep rising, and keep challenging the systems that tell you to be less than you are. Until next time, I'll see you next week, my fellow queens.